I am back. Yes, indeed. After my 1 week hiatus, I am back. The Kirby on Sports podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I must say that with all the division in this world, let's all come together and tune into episode 213 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. I'm Josh Kirby, and I approve this message. Welcome one, welcome all. This is episode 213 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Got to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors before we get this show on the road. PickEm Plus Reserves, Shenandoah Primitives, Transformative Alignment Group, Barrett, Pest, and Termite Services, Mark Lynch with Guild Mortgage, Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate, Shenandoah Music, and our brand new sponsor, the Cider House in Old Town Winchester, Virginia on East Piccadilly Street. We will have a live show there coming up shortly. Stay tuned for more details. Thank you to all of our sponsors for making the Kirby on Sports podcast what it is today. I am not wasting any more time. We are back. I am back in the saddle. Without further ado, I welcome in my press secretary, the weapon, Dan Dembski. Dan, good evening, sir.
What's going on, buddy? How are you? Welcome back. Welcome back. It was rough without you, kind of.
I heard it was rough, but you all prevail. I trust nobody but you and Carlos.
Big trust. Big
trust. That's for sure. Sure. And now we welcome in my vice president, the two-time reigning defending Kirby on Sports podcast PickEm champion, Carlos, the Swiss Army Knife Martinez.
I'm not the vice president, sir. I'm the damn president. Okay, I am the king. I am your tribal chief. I am the final boss. I am everything. I am the number. I am the top dog.
TD. That's all you need to know.
I'm Josh Kirby, and I approve this message.
I had to clean my camera. My apologies.
Did you hear that? I'm Josh Kirby. I approve that message, Carlos.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm going to slap, and if I get that on my Christmas card again this year, I'm going to personally drive down to Winchester and slap the taste out of your mouth.
From the desk.
Stooge.
All right, well, obviously it's election day, but there are more pressing issues with the end of the trade deadline.
Apparently.
I mean, hey, it's a big day. It's a Tuesday here. It's a big day. The sports world, our country, but the trade deadline's here, and obviously some moves were made. The Ravens won. The Commanders made a big splash too, which is kind of surprising, but I just want to start off the show just getting our thoughts on free agency as the trade deadline. I get those two confused. I don't know why, but the trade deadline.
You're a stooge.
How'd you like it, gentlemen?
I didn't care for it. The trade deadline, the trade deadline in the NFL world is not as exciting as the NBA world.
No, I could agree with that. With all the Supermax contracts and all the mega deals and
Why don't we talk about Supermax? We're talking about moves, trades, not freaking free agency contracts.
Yeah, but still,
why are we talking about Supermax?
I don't know, man.
You never see. It feels like the NFL is always that way, where there's never a big splash trade that happens.
It's just harder. I feel like to move them around.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Yeah, there's more I think the salary cap. I guess the salary cap. There is no salary.
The salary cap
in
is
the
more
NBA.
restrictive in the NFL than it is in the NBA.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So that's
It's not even an
kinda
agree.
helps.
It's that's just fact.
Yeah. And with the revenue sharing and more of that sort of stuff that happens in the NFL too, I think it makes a big difference as well. Yeah, there's never really a huge splash move, and there really wasn't this year either.
The Ravens did pick up somebody though.
They needed help in the secondary.
It does not seem like a lot of people like the move for some reason.
Well, he's hasn't played much, and he's had a history of injuries, and I know he was having a disagreement there with the Rams for a bit. So we'll see what happens. I think anything helps improve that secondary, considering how much they've struggled. Now they didn't struggle this past Sunday. We're going to touch on that, but I think going against Bo Nix obviously is not really going to test your secondary as much as it should be tested week after week. So, I think it improves them if he can stay healthy and he can stay on the field, because that seems to have been that's a concern for Tre'Davious White throughout his time in the NFL. Is just the fact that he hasn't stayed healthy. So,
And in the same token, the Commanders sort of in the same boat. They're buying getting Marshawn Lattimore I'm not sure if you saw how this broke down. Marshawn and a fifth for a third, fourth, and sixth. From what I'm hearing,
too much.
Yeah, they gave up a lot. They gave up a lot.
I'm glad the Chiefs didn't pay that. It's too much. Too much for a guy who is, in my opinion, past his prime, and also has not played a full season since, I believe, either 2021 or 2022. He can't stay healthy. Overpaid for the guy. Great. Don't get me wrong, though. With how bad your guys' secondary is, he will help. But I don't think he's that impact player that you think he's going to be. But I can't my words. And he could have just this gigantic career resurgence here in Washington. It is Dan Quinn we're talking about here. He knows how to get the best out of defensive players, because defense is his bread and butter. So I could eat my words. I really could. But I really don't think he's going to be the big impact player that some Commanders fans are thinking he's going to be. When the Kansas City Chiefs were interested in him, it was it wasn't to be the top guy. It was just to add some depth and some good talent. We weren't, that's why I don't think Kansas City ended up paying that, that price tag of, a third, a fifth, and a sixth. Was it?
Well, you have to listen to this breakdown. The third round pick came from the trade where the Commanders sent Jahan Dotson to Philly.
No, I think they kept that one.
No, it's been confirmed by numerous sources in the DC.
Okay, so it's confirmed that was the Eagles one?
Yeah, it was the Eagles pick that they gave the Commanders for Jahan Dotson, and look what Jahan Dotson has done so far this season.
He just scored this past week.
Yeah, but I mean,
what? Like he's impacting, bro.
Not as much.
Was trying to flame.
He wasn't a big impact in Washington either, so he's doing about the same in Philly. So it's like
it's about what's expected of him.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
But and then the other draft pick was the one where the Saints traded for John Ridgeway, I believe. So in all reality, it was technically one pick, but still going back to this pickup, Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, I know he's had some injury concerns. He looks good. He has some great moments, but it's the health-wise that I'm curious about. But in the same token,
secondary, it is the biggest thing with the secondary.
Yes.
Can they stay healthy?
And having also the Saints restructures his contract as well. So the Commanders are getting him for a very minimal price for the rest of his season, which works out well for them too. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that goes down. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I think it will help. I agree a little with Carlos. He might not make as much of an impact.
Depends on if they expect him to be an every down defensive back, which it seems like with their lack of depth in those positions. Not much I can do. He's not going to be that, right? He's not going to be like an every down guy who's going to be able to make plays all the time. I don't think necessarily, but if
I
you're
think
looking
he
for
could-
more depth, then yeah, that can help.
I think he could definitely coach up some of the younger guys on that defense as well.
But the younger guys on your defense aren't that talented in terms of secondary.
Yeah, but still, he could help.
There's a reason why you guys went out and made this trade is because you guys don't have the talent. This isn't, again, it's not like you guys are sitting on, this wealth of young untapped potential in this secondary. The secondary is just not good. So Lattimore is going to come in and he's going to improve it. Let's not get this twisted here. He will make an improvement. I just don't think it's going to be the vast improvement that a lot of people are thinking it's going to be.
Well, I just hope it helps because the defense, in my mind, and I'll touch on it, has declined from what I've seen recently.
I was going to save this for the Commanders. I think you guys have plateaued. I don't think you guys are going to get any better than what you guys already are.
Yeah,
that's just me.
That's defensively?
Both sides. Both sides.
All right. Well, we'll get into that more, but
we'll get into that later. But I'm just saying, I think you guys have plateaued, in my opinion.
No goodness. Here we go. But anyways, any other big free agent splash signings that
trade, bro? Trade
deadline.
Free agent.
Trade deadline. Oh my! Save this for the blooper reel, Dan.
Why do I have to make the blooper reel?
No,
my responsibility.
He's doing his bit from whatever the radio station thing is.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay. No, so trade deadline. Any other big trade deadline splashes?
We could talk about Zadarius Smith getting traded from Cleveland to Detroit. I think it's a great. I think that's a great pickup, especially.
The Lions. Yep.
The Lions defense was playing pretty well despite losing Hutchinson, but I think getting Smith was. I think that was a fantastic move, and it really shows, hey man, this Detroit team's ready to play, and that actually makes me really excited because I really hope Detroit wins the NFC, and gets is the team that we beat for the three-peat. But
I think the way Detroit plays, I think he's gonna fit in very well. That's just
I agree.
My mind. And
I agree.
I think that the Lions are not plateauing and they're
buying in 100%.
Elevating.
Okay. This is what we're not going to do, Kirby. You're not going to sit there and use that word. You've never used that word in your life, okay? You've never used it. You're not going to sit there and be like, I don't think the Lions are plateauing. You can't. What are we talking about? What are we doing here? You can't do that.
Opposite of plateau.
You can't do that. No,
you just stole a word he used.
You just heard that word. You can't do that.
Nope, it's illegal. Stop.
Okay. Well, anyways, but besides that, the Lions are moving up.
Like a swagger jacker over here.
You look at the Lions, what they did against the Packers. That's they had an all-around impressive game.
It was a whooping.
Impressive win.
It was a whooping.
Yeah. So with that, I think they're just moving up, getting better, and that's all in part to.
But that's the thing, right? Is like. For a successful team doesn't like, to sit on their laurels, right?
True.
Yeah.
Bring it to the Chiefs. What have the Chiefs done? They have not sat on the fact that they're, that they have a good team. And obviously we've suffered a lot of injuries. But what have the Chiefs gone and done? They went and got Kareem Hunt. We went and got Hopkins. We went and got these guys because they're striving for something greater. Again, Detroit has been playing very well. They honestly haven't missed the step since Aiden Hutchinson went out. Sure, the QB pressures have gone down, right? But the defense is still playing at a very good level.
Absolutely.
But they are striving for more than what they have achieved. So that's why they went out and made a move. It's to say, I could say the same thing about the Commanders. Look, the Commanders, despite me thinking that they have plateaued, right? I think it was and despite me thinking that I think they paid too much for Lattimore, it's still a good move to make because it's showing your fan base, hey, we're trying to make a run at something. Sure, probably not the Super Bowl, but we want to improve this weak point in our defense. And I think it just shows a lot when a team does make moves that make sense, that aren't like what the Cowboys did and traded for a guy that they're paying more for than what they got for freaking Amari Cooper. We only got a 5th-round pick for him, and then they trade a 4th-round pick for this kid, whatever his name is. Fucking, excuse my French. Wingo, whatever his name is. Wingo. I don't know his name, man.
Trey Bingo.
Trey Bingo.
Brian. But with that, the trade deadline reaching.
He did it right. Congrats.
I did it right. I thought I made sure. Trade deadline. It has come and gone. When we return, we will continue to dive into our NFL teams and how they did this past week in the NFL. Stick right here with us on episode 213 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. For sports fans living in condominium and homeowners associations, as well as business professionals, when you need a reserve study, PickEm Plus Reserves has been in business since 1990. Their studies are accurate and easy to understand. Check them out when your association needs a study. www.pmplusreserves.com. You can also contact them at 703-803-8436. Once again, www.pmplusreserves.com. Is it finally time to upgrade your home's interior? How about with an authentic farm table made locally from recycled barnwood? Shenandoah Primitives, based right here in Winchester, Virginia, makes farm tables, benches, tables, coffee tables, and a long list of other items for your home decorating needs. At Shenandoah Primitives, function and style are combined for great furniture that will last generations. If you're interested in combining the industrial look of metal with wood, or considering something incredibly unique with a live edge, Shenandoah Primitives turns those ideas into reality. Thinking about a mirror, wine rack, or other accent piece for your home, Shenandoah Primitives can assist with that as well. As a local small business, Shenandoah Primitives is happy to work with each client for a custom design or schedule an appointment to come out and view current inventory. Local, high-quality, handmade items can be found at Shenandoah Primitives. Find us on Facebook and Instagram or visit us at www.shenandoahprimitives.com. Once again, that's www.shenandoahprimitives.com. We are back in business, episode 213 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Joining me, the weapon Dan Dembski and the Swiss Army knife two-time Carlos Martinez. Now let's dive into some NFL action in this past week in the NFL. The Washington Commanders defeat the New York Giants 27-22. And I must say, guys, I really was not impressed. Carlos, you probably know why I wasn't impressed, but I will say it again. The defense looked absolutely terrible, made Daniel Jones and the Giants look better than they were. But again, a division game, and the Giants always play the Commanders tough. Offensively, the Jaden Daniels and the offense got some stuff done, but Brian Robinson was out with an injury. Chris Rodriguez, 52 yards. Eckler, 42 yards and a rushing touchdown. So the running attack without Robinson splitting the carries up. But again, the Giants defensively as well, they were sort of applying pressure, but secondary for the Giants too, with the Commanders eating at the run, it seemed like the Commanders were able to let some big passes fly even later in the game as well. So, overall, I don't really have a lot to say, but the Giants always play the Commanders tough. And just looking at the Giants offensively, it was because the Commanders defense was just not that great. And I was stressed this entire game. Washington never gave up the lead, but still, regardless of that, they kept it close, and the Giants were keeping it close. 27-22, the scoreline. I know some of that was garbage time, but in the end, when it mattered, the offense ran out the clock, did what they needed to do, got off the field, and got the win. But still, some concerns for me. Brian Robinson, when will he be back? Because he has helped a lot in the running game. Defensively, Marshawn Lattimore obviously getting him today, but how will he help the defense? Because the defense has just not looked good to me, and I think they're declining from what I've seen the defense do early in this Commanders season to now. I feel like it's gone down in my mind. So I'm not sure. I know Carlos thinks that, but the
Boy,
offense
you
and
Commanders fans
defense-
are getting picky about every game.
Christ.
It's always doom and
Go on, Dan. Go off, Dan. Go off, Dan. Go off,
You're
Dan.
winning. You're winning. You have 2 losses on the season, and you're harping on, we're our defense. Cry. You're so ungrateful. Your team is winning. You're actually competent this year.
Yes,
Oh my God! Just
we
be
are.
happy with the dub, man. Just be happy with the dub. It's
I am, but
unbelievable.
still, the concerns I have to raise the concerns there. Carlos thinks we're plateauing.
Okay, there he goes again, using the word
Carlos
plateau.
said it.
I did.
know.
And then you tried to steal
and
it.
You still stole it. Yeah, he tried to.
But
Mm.
I mean, those are my thoughts. I mean, the Giants are. I
Those
don't know
game-
what.
Those divisional games are always going to be that way. It's never, and it's always been that way.
Just think about it.
It's
The last
never
time you
gonna
guys
change.
just think about it. The last time you guys played the Giants, you beat them by field goals.
Yeah,
Like legitimately, you only scored field goals. Like we made an improvement, guys. You guys won by touchdowns this time.
Yeah.
But no, you can't be freaking happy with anything. Listen, I do think you guys are plateauing, but I think that's just because you guys are a young team and there's a lack of talent,
There's
especially on the defensive
depth,
side
and depth as well.
and depth. I think that's why you're plateauing. I don't think it's necessarily a bad look. The schedule is very favorable to you guys right now.
True.
You got 2 games against Dallas. You guys should easily win those. Dallas is an awful team this year. The only real competitive game I do see for sure are going to be your 2 games against the Eagles. Those are going to be very, very tough competitive matchups. Whether you guys have the horses to win it, I don't know. It's not like the Eagles are lighting it up right now either. I mean, God, they were begging to throw that game away to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So that's why
if
I'm
Jacksonville wasn't so bad.
not. Well, if Trevor Lawrence would go back to the way he used to be, I don't know what happened to him,
Yeah,
man.
he's broken, man. He's just broken.
But I don't know, man. I would just like I'm with Dan. It's like, man,
just be
it's like
happy. Just be happy.
it's never good enough, man. It's
Yeah.
truly never good enough for y'all. And I understand, don't get too big of a head. Let's keep it realistic, because at the same time, it's like, look, you guys aren't winning a Super Bowl this year or anything like that. But this is why your fan base is insufferable, because even during the good times, it's like, oh, poor us. Oh my God. Heavy is the head that wears the crown or whatever the hell it is.
Still, I was not impressed with the defense.
But when has the defense ever been fucking impressive? Excuse my
It's been
French
a-
again.
it's been a
Jesus
problem
Christ,
for-
I'm
it's been a
on one
problem
today.
for 10 years, Kirby. Like, the defense has been a problem forever.
But like this whole season, when has the defense ever been impressive?
They haven't been good in any game. Like, okay,
Like-
against Caleb Williams, I'll give you that. But
But that was mostly because Caleb was playing like
he was
garbage
bad.
for
He
3
was bad
quarters,
that
and then
game.
he woke up in the last quarter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was too little, too late. But well, it took a miracle. But anyway, yeah, it's like
It did.
just be happy, like be grateful. Your team has been a dumpster fire for so long, and it's like,
Well,
just appreciate it right now. Like this is
I
great.
really
But
do.
but stay in the middle. Don't be like, we're gonna win the Super Bowl, because I've seen a lot of that nonsense too. Let's
Oh,
slow
we're
your
we're
roll.
we're gonna win the Super Bowl.
Let's
No.
make the playoffs first. All right. Let's host a playoff game first. Let's do all these firsts here with this young team before we crown them anything. So
To my next point.
okay.
I feel like it's still a dream that the Commanders are 7-2.
Yeah.
Like,
I
No
mean,
one
look,
expected
but
this.
hold on. Let's be honest, Kirby. Again, we got to keep things in context. Y'all have beaten a bunch of tomato cans. Your 2 losses came to the actual 2 good teams. You have an opportunity
True.
to put that argument to rest with this game against the Steelers. But I really do not think y'all beat the Steelers. I think the Steelers
Yeah,
defense
it's gonna be tough.
is something that that Jaden Daniels has never seen. That Steelers defense is
really good. It's really good.
And on top of that, Russell Wilson has actually unlocked something else in this Steelers offense that Justin Fields was not able to do. And with how bad your defense is, and I don't think, and Lattimore's going to help, but it's going to take him time to really work in and get comfortable being on this team and playing under this defensive concept, or this defensive scheme is more the word instead of concept, but I have concepts of a plan. But yeah, so Lattimore's not going to fix all your problems. You're still going to have a bunch of scrubs out there, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like, you got to keep it in context. The reason why you guys are 7-2 is you guys kind of have had a very weak schedule. You guys haven't played the toughest, like the two tough teams you played them very admirably, but you still lost. Okay. But then you're beating all these scrub teams, basically. Got to keep it in context.
But still 7-2 to think that.
I will say it's no one thought that was this they would be in this position.
Nobody thought the beginning of the season. Did I project them 7-2?
Nobody
didn't do
thought,
projections at the beginning of the season.
No, we didn't. That's way too hard.
I thought we were just talking off air about it or something. But
well, we were just talking in general about what we thought the teams would do, but not like we did. I think how long ago was that when we did records? That was.
Oh, dude, that was like 2 seasons ago. It was last time we did like a preview before the season started.
That was
hard. I did one of them outside on my freaking porch because of the AC was broken in the house.
That's right. That's right.
I remember that.
But yeah, no one expected this. I agree with you on that. But Carlos has a point. Like, this is a chance to like prove, yes, we are a legit. I mean, I think they're a legitimate team anyway. But
they're making great strides in the right direction for a better future. Let's say that.
Well, and just the turnaround with Jaden Daniels, the energy, it's all been there. It's all been injected into this team.
Capital One Arena lit up when they showed him on the Jumbotron.
More exciting than the Wizards, for sure. I'll tell you that much.
Well, you should have seen the Golden State fans there when Steph Curry hit that corner three at the half at the buzzer.
I'm sure.
It was like FedEx Field.
Great, we got into NBA talk.
They travel well. But yes.
2 years. I'm sorry. You said 2 years ago?
Or something like that. When
brother, 2 years ago, it was an away stadium. 2 years ago is when the Chiefs took over that place.
I know.
Every team took over that place.
I know. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I see what you're saying now. Okay, I see what you're saying now.
Warriors fans try to see Steph and all them, and they were cheering, and there was a big crowd. Steph was signing autographs.
Freaking any good.
I know. I was just making that comparison, but yeah.
It was a good comparison.
But just like go into it with an even head. Let's go into it with an even mind and an even head and think about
and understand chances are y'all probably aren't going to win the division, but at least try to make the playoffs.
Eagles are, I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to dethrone a team that's been there and done that. So, but enjoy every win. Enjoy every win and try not to pick apart every damn little thing they do wrong because they're winning. My God, they're winning, and that's something they haven't done in 9 weeks of football for a long time.
I know.
So enjoy it, man. Just enjoy it. But don't stop with the annoyingness on Facebook. We talked about this off camera, but you got to chill. You got to chill with the trolling.
Stay humble, my friend. Stay humble.
All right, I will stay humble.
Just take my advice. Take Carlos's advice. Listen to us.
The Washington Commanders defeat the New York Giants 27-2. Left hand up, Commanders, baby. When we return,
absolutely not. I don't support commies.
When we return, we have another game to talk about. The Baltimore Ravens, a beatdown at M&T Bank.
Bedbugs. The only thing creepier than thinking about them is actually having them. Trust me, you don't want to have them. Locally owned and operated Barrett Pest and Termite Services can keep you from having bedbug nightmares and infestations. Call 540-340-3922 to schedule your free inspection and consultation. If bedbugs are already in your home, we'll get rid of them so you can rest easy. We also specialize in keeping homes and businesses free of other pests, including rodents and termites. That's Barrett Pest and Termite Services, 540-340-3922.
Hey there, Kirby on Sports with Podcast fans. Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate here for you. Remember, if you have any real estate needs, buying or selling, I'm your guy. I would love to help you out. And you can also find me on my own personal podcast, Iconic Talk, where you get a chance to learn about the local real estate market and why Winchester is an amazing place to live. Reach out to me anytime, 540-247-1527, and find Iconic Talk anywhere you get your podcasts.
Welcome back, episode 213 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Riding with me, the weapon Dan Dembski and the Swiss Army knife Carlos Martinez. Knocking on the door is our next matchup that we will be discussing. The Baltimore Ravens defeat the Denver Broncos 41-10. And let me start by saying this. Going into this game, it seemed like the Denver Broncos, a 5-3 record, just didn't feel right to me. 5-3. I was like, really? 5-3 for the Denver Broncos?
I don't know why you're harping on this point.
Yeah, that was just something I was like,
the record is the record, my guy. You guys are 7-2. Doesn't feel right, you know? I don't know. It doesn't feel right. It feels like you guys just beat a bunch of tomato cans. Doesn't feel like you guys are actually 7-2. But guess what? The record is freaking 7-2.
Yeah. But the Baltimore Ravens make that record 5-4 after a beatdown at M&T Bank, Dan Dembski.
Yeah, it was a perfect bounce back game, and it's exactly what they needed after losing to the Browns in tough fashion for sure last week. I really don't have a ton to say about this game. It was just a dominant performance on both sides of the ball. I felt like the defense kind of took advantage of there being a young quarterback on the other sideline, a guy who, has not, doesn't have a ton of time in the National Football League, and I felt like the defense was able to kind of get their groove back a little bit. Obviously, I think the game we're going to on Thursday night will give us more of a look as to, if that defense has recovered, and going against Joe Burrow and a very talented array of weapons will show how far that defense has come, and this game doesn't really show you too much from that perspective, but I was happy to see the defense play well, and then the Ravens just got back to what has gotten them to this point, which is run the football, and then play action pass and let Lamar be Lamar. He had a perfect game, perfect quarterback rating, just 3 incomplete passes, and they were just clicking on all cylinders. It kind of feels like this was the game where, as a Ravens fan, I sit back and I think it feels like we finally have a number one receiver. We've been waiting for this for so long. It feels like Zay Flowers has become that guy. Now, this is obviously a Denver secondary and a Denver defense that's not the best, so it's hard to make that prediction. But he was just amazing in this game. Of course, had the 2 touchdowns, 5 receptions, 127 yards, just insane numbers. I really don't have much else to say about this game other than the fact that it was just very enjoyable to watch, and it just felt like this was just a low-pressure kind of game for the Ravens, a game that they really needed to come out and dominate and get back on track after, again, the tough loss to the Browns, and just felt like they did it, and they did it in a great fashion, and that's really all I have. It was just a dominant performance. I don't have a ton to critique about this game and about what they did, because it was pretty damn good. I can't lie to you, fellas.
Derrick Henry looked great.
He was
Unreal.
great. I didn't even mention Derrick Henry, of course. Yeah, and he's still out there running over guys at 30 years old. It's just crazy. Had a nice run where he stiff-armed at least 2 guys. So, he had over 100 yards rushing again, 2 touchdowns. He just continues to turn it on. He's going to have to turn it on Thursday night for sure. Tough matchup against a really pretty solid defense. So, but yeah, this was a game the Ravens needed. A nice game where they could come out and dominate. Felt similar to the Tampa Bay the game against the Bucs where they dominated as well. But we've seen them take steps back as well. So I just hope they can use this to help with a positive on the positive side of things and come out and play really well on Thursday night, because they're going to have to. It's a tough matchup against a divisional opponent, and these types of games are always taxing. So we'll see what happens there. But that's really all I got. I think Denver's a young team. Bo Nix was able to make some plays for sure, but they just don't have a ton right now. And their offensive line is struggling. It felt like Bo Nix was running for his life most of this game, and that's no bueno for a young quarterback to be running as much as he was for his life. So that's really all I got, boys. Not much to complain about this week. I'm sure next week when we talk again, I'll probably have more to complain about. But
it was a good get-right game for sure after the loss to the Browns. And just I was flipping back and forth and seeing this game, and the Ravens just looked like a complete football team this game. And like you said, you don't really have much to critique. They just looked like they were doing everything correctly, what they were supposed to. And
they took care of business, which is something they don't always do. To be honest. Yeah.
And Derrick Henry, the way he plays is just very, very interesting because of his size and how he runs. He's just, I bet you if you see Derrick Henry in person, he is jacked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's 6'2", bro.
And you don't...
don't die, he's jacked.
And the last thing you want is him running full speed at you. I'd get out of the way. I wouldn't even try to tackle the guy. There's no point.
I guess it depends on your own size. Like if you are built like a linebacker, I think I'm okay with it. If I'm built like
a corner,
what was his name? Like Earl Thomas, was that his name?
Earl Thomas,
Earl Thomas. Yeah, I'm getting out of his way. I'm not getting stiff armed. Look, I mean, all I'll say is that the only thing that concerned me was that first half was a little concerning.
Mm-hmm.
Looked a little bit
slow start.
It was a slow start, and the Broncos were having a lot of success, but look, second half Ravens came out, shut the game down, completely dominated and took over. Derrick Henry, like you said, he's having another historic season. It looks like he might have another 2,000-yard season.
Yeah.
I mean, we're only at week 10 and he's already at 1,000 yards. Like, I mean, it's crazy what he's doing, and Jerry Jones didn't call him freaking stooge.
Yeah.
But look, I still have some. I mean, there's still concerns with the team. Obviously, the secondary is still a little rough. I do agree with the Zay Flowers point. I think Zay played very good. I think the acquisition of what's his name from Carolina again,
Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, Deontay Johnson, I think once he starts getting into the fold is going to help tremendously in A, keeping Zay Flowers healthy, and B, just also, helping get Zay Flowers open.
Agreed.
I think, and I mean, look, Denver, like you said, is a young team. They do have a pretty decent secondary. I mean, Patrick Surtain is on that team. Patrick Surtain is a stud.
True. I forgot about Patrick Surtain,
but
of course. Again,
Zay Flowers played fantastic, and Lamar played fantastic in this game. And it's just a thing of like, look, this is why it gets so, it's just so jarring how Jekyll and Hyde this team can be. 1 week they're dominating like this, and then last week you're losing to Cleveland, who then gets completely dominated by the Chargers.
It's really weird.
Like, that's what I'm saying, is it's so Jekyll and Hyde, and hopefully they find that consistency as the season goes on, because they really need it, especially, when you got to go through the Arrowhead Invitational. But with all that being said, great performance by the Ravens, and it's a good way to go. They dominated so great that they were able to rest their players going into the fourth quarter, which is tremendous, especially going into this Thursday night matchup. So
that's a great point. I hadn't even brought that up.
Good job by the Ravens. They went out, they handled business, were able to get off the field and rest some starters, because they just completely blew that game wide open in the second half. And you're right. We'll see what it looks like on Thursday. It might be a little rough in my opinion, but they were able to get an early start on the rest. So, but Thursday games are always super weird.
Yeah, both teams sort of the wear and tear definitely shows in those Thursday night games for sure.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure we're going to see that for sure. But Yeah, I know. I know Lamar didn't practice today. They were just resting him, but he's got. I mean, he rested all of last week and only practiced on Friday, and we saw what he did when he came out of the gate. So
Yeah, but he's got to practice though. You know.
Yeah.
Denver's one thing.
Cincy's another. That's true.
Cincy's another. Yeah, Cincy's another. I mean,
stake.
it's not like Cincinnati's defense is what it used to be.
Mhm.
You know, it's definitely not as great, but at the same time, it's a divisional opponent. They know you better than anybody else. So I would definitely at least try to get some practice in for sure. I mean, I'm not.
I agree.
It's not like he's not doing anything. You know, he's for sure still watching film, studying, and all that stuff.
Absolutely. Kirby, any thoughts?
No, I think you all touched on it. It was a really dominant performance, and I'm looking forward to heading to M&T Bank Stadium with you two on Thursday.
It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be great. With that 41-10, the Ravens over the Broncos, we will take another break. And when we come back, we talk about the Chiefs defeating the Buccaneers in overtime.
It's Jason, General Manager at Shenandoah Music, here to tell you all about... Jay, what are you doing here? Well, Matt, I'm trying to tell the people about our selection of guitars, basses, keyboards, drum sets.
I know that, but I always do the radio spots.
You get to have all the fun. I want to tell everyone about our huge selection, unbeatable prices, unmatched service, and in-depth knowledge.
Jay, I really don't think now is the time to discuss.
So remember, folks, when you think music, think Shenandoah Music in Winchester.
That's my line.
And we are back, the Kirby on Sports Podcast, episode 213. It's now time to discuss one of the more exciting matchups. On Monday night, the Kansas City Chiefs defeat Tampa Bay 30-24. I saw Mahomes went out injured, came back in. I mean, you know, Mahomes has done that numerous times before. So
scared the fans, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but they get the job done, and this is why the Kansas City Chiefs are the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not the prettiest football, but they're getting the job done, and Carlos is probably over the moon about it.
Just another win, baby. It's just another win. Like, honestly, like, you see, this is what happens when you, are used to winning, Kirby. A win is a win, baby. Like,
yeah.
You know, I'm not sitting here jumping for glee, posting on Facebook how I sleep better when the Commanders win. This is how I sleep when the Chiefs win, baby. We're used to this shit, man. We're used to this, man. I'm on one. Excuse my French, guys. I have a potty mouth today.
That's all right.
Yeah, we're not stooges here. We know how to win. We know how to act like when we win. And we don't sit there and boast about it because our franchise is poverty like yours is. But anywho, back to the game. Back to the game. Back to the game. Back to the game.
Brutal.
Yeah, man, it's just another. It's just what it is this season, man. It's the Chiefs are just gonna do what it takes to win, and they're gonna do nothing more. This was a gigantic DeAndre Hopkins game. It really showed why we went out and got him. He was an absolute stud. Patrick Mahomes was slinging it for a good majority of the first half, and then the second half he kind of cooled off a little bit, kind of came back alive a little bit at the end of the game. A big Travis Kelce game also. But, man, you got to give it to Kareem Hunt, man. Kareem Hunt is just – man, he's timeless. Career rejuvenation, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, everybody thought he was done after his last year in Cleveland. Nobody's calling him. He's sitting on the couch. Ezekiel Elliott's getting signed before he is. And it's just like he comes back to Kansas City, gets a second chance after, what happened, his first couple seasons in Kansas City, and he's really trying to make up for that and try to, do what he can to help this team, get the three-peat, man. And, this defense is stout. We all know that. And the fact that people still don't recognize that and still believe the Chiefs are, still expect the Chiefs, the way they're going to win is by blowing them out and wanting that, but not realizing that the reason why the Chiefs are so good is because this defense keeps them in games. I mean, like they did. I mean, we went down. What was it? 17-10, I believe it was. It was something like that. We were down 17. Yeah, we were down 17-10, and at that point, it started feeling like the game was starting to get a little out of reach. And then what happens? The defense completely shuts down Tampa Bay's offense. Baker Mayfield was cooking out there, and the defense said no more. And we're able to stop them enough to where the Chiefs offense got going, got a couple touchdowns, took the lead. And then that last drive was just the Chiefs defense just got tired because it was just it was hurry up after hurry up after hurry up play. So they just got tired. Big mistake by Todd Bowles to not go for the 2-point conversion, in my opinion. I would have gone for the 2.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, the defense was tired at that point, man. And
game of chance there, to be honest.
You can't give Mahomes a chance to get the ball back. You just
can't
do it.
You got the Super Bowl champs in that with their backs against the wall at that point.
They're on the ropes, yeah.
Yeah, you're in Arrowhead. Just everything is the overtime is more favorable to the home team. Yep. And if I was Todd Bowles, I would just go for the 2. Because like again, look at good teams. That's what a good coaches would have done. They would have just gone for the 2 because it just makes more sense. If in the first game, if the Ravens, if that Isaiah Likely touchdown would have counted, the Ravens were going to go for 2. Like they were there. That's what they were saying. That's what they were signaling. Hey, we're going for 2 because we're going for the win. We're not here to give you another shot.
Right.
Because again, then you're basically at the whim of a coin toss and a touchdown ends it. You don't see the field. This isn't playoff overtime rules where both teams are going to get a possession.
Right.
So again, me personally, I would have gone for the 2. I would have gone for the 2 if I was Tampa Bay because again, at that point, like y'all were having success. Y'all had all the momentum. Yeah, but they decided to give it back to, the boogeyman, and the boogeyman does what the boogeyman does. And he, and he got the job done. And, Kareem Hunt got the game-winning touchdown, but, there's just,
No, go ahead. Sorry. I cut.
Yeah, no, I'm just, it's another win. I mean, it is kind of hard. Like now looking through the schedule of like, okay, when does this team lose? I still have it circled as the Bills. I still think the Bills beat us.
That's the most sure one. Yeah.
I just think because again, it's in Buffalo, with how juiced that team is going to be to want to, how juiced Josh Allen's going to want, to again beat us in the regular season. We always lose to them in the regular season. Again, it's the playoffs that matter.
Yep. True.
I think we lose that one. I think the Texans is still going to be an interesting matchup. And I mean, we're going to lose. I still have us losing 3 games at some point this season. There's going to be a really dumb loss at some point. But yeah, man, I mean, it's just the same old, same old. It's just the Chiefs doing Chiefs things, just champs doing champ stuff. This is what we do, baby. We just win. Just win, baby. Just like Al Davis used to say. I know he hated the Kansas City Chiefs, but guess what? Just win, baby.
Yeah, you could see in overtime that the Chiefs found that second gear, and Tampa's defense, I'm not really sure what they were doing. They're playing very soft coverage. And Mahomes is just able to sit back there and pick apart that secondary and that defense, and it was impressive to see. And it's what Kansas City does. It's what they constantly do. They find ways to win, and they find that extra gear. And I think it starts with Andy Reid, and it's Patrick Mahomes obviously as well, that they're able to just find this little extra bit that most 99.9% of teams in the NFL are not able to find, and they find it when they need it, and they used it, and they were able to get down the field quickly and score rather quickly as well. Carlos nailed it. I mean, Tampa has to go for 2 in that situation. You can't be at the mercy of a coin toss, and you can see the second that Kansas City wins the coin toss, that the famous picture now of Baker looking to the sky like, oh God, like he knew what was about to happen, and we all knew what was about to happen. If you've watched football at all for the last 5-6 years, it was a great game though. It was a lot of fun, and Kansas City just gets the job done. They just find ways to win, and they just adjust so well. Like it's like nothing phases them, and that's I think the most impressive thing to me. Whether they're ahead or behind, they just stay the course, and they know how to win, and they know how to just go about it in such a professional manner as well, which I think is just so amazing to see. And also makes me mad as a Ravens fan because they just keep winning as well. But that's okay. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
It's a tradition like any other, Dan. It's what we do, baby.
I know.
Yeah,
Win games and eliminate Baltimore
last night.
Oh, okay.
Listen,
Well,
Dan,
you pretty much
Dan
eliminate
knows.
everyone, Carlos.
Dan knows that we're the boogeyman. Okay, we are the Ravens boogeyman.
Not just for the Ravens. Not just for the Ravens.
Listen, we're your boogeyman. We're not just your boogeyman. We're the Bills boogeyman too.
I know.
We're the 49ers' boogeyman. Okay,
I know.
but you're a Ravens fan. We're your boogeyman. It's okay. To be the man, you gotta beat the man. You guys will get a chance at the playoffs. I guarantee you'll get a shot, unless of course something John Harbaugh's it, and somehow doesn't make it to the Chiefs. You guys get eliminated before you face the Chiefs. But I still have you guys as the biggest threat. Like it's not like we don't recognize that you guys. I mean, you guys almost beat us. You guys. The only reason why you didn't beat us is because Likely's toe was out of bounds.
It's true.
Because who's to say that we were going to stop that 2-point conversion? I don't think we were going to stop it.
That's a good point.
But at the same time, the Chiefs have also gotten better, and there's reinforcements on the way. Once this team is going to get healthier.
Yeah.
And that's why, it's just the three-peat feels inevitable, but like I don't want to like say that because at the same time, like there's a lot of motivation behind Buffalo. There's a lot of motivation behind you guys. Now the difference being is like this: we took it on we took the Arrowhead Invitational to your guys' house last year,
I know,
and still won.
I know.
Now you guys have to come to Arrowhead during the playoffs, and that's a different animal.
Yep. I totally agree with everything you said, man. You're the Kings. If you're gonna be the king, you have to beat the king. That's just how it is.
Absolutely. The Chiefs are rolling.
Also, Patrick Mahomes never do that again. I was freaking out. I was like, dude, if he's gone, if he's done, because it did not look good. It did not look good. And I was like, dude, if you do this like the three-peat is done, like Mahomes goes out, like there's no way this team wins.
Agreed.
And luckily it was just I don't know what happened.
Luckily sore today.
Probably,
they gave him some
but
sort
listen,
of shots. I'm sure they gave him something.
Not in the blue tent. They would have had to take him into the locker room to give him that stuff.
That's true.
I think
they taped him up pretty well.
Look, he won the Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl with a high ankle sprain.
It's true.
Like he won the AFC Championship game with a high ankle sprain. Like he's got a very high pain tolerance.
He's a baller.
All right, we should
move
on. After that comment.
God, cream cheese strikes again.
Yes.
It's been a while since we've heard that. Yeah, man.
Cream cheese strikes again.
Cheese.
Hey, the Kansas City Chiefs doing what they do best. But let me tell you one thing. Our new sponsor, so glad to have them on board. The Cider House, 30 East Piccadilly Street, Old Town, Winchester, Virginia. They have great food. I recommend their buffalo chicken dip in a bread bowl. Very good.
Is it better than my buffalo chicken dip? We shall see.
Well, you can try. I haven't had yours in a while, Carlos, so I can't make a fair comparison.
That's BS. That's BS because you never forget what mine tastes like.
That is right.
Mine tastes like heaven in a chip.
It's so great,
bro.
It's so great.
I mean,
anyways, whatever. That wasn't even the point of the segment.
We don't have to do this now.
The point of the segment was when we go on the 14th.
The 14th, we'll be there.
I am going to try said buffalo chicken dip, and you will hear from me if it's as good as mine.
Yes, try it. But anyways, we'll be out there at the Kirby on Sports podcast on November 14th, leading up to Thursday Night Football. That is a matchup. The Washington Commanders traveling up to Lincoln Financial Field to face off against.
Will the Swiss Army knife rock make an appearance? You'll have to come to find out.
So please come out, join us. It's promoted on social media. We'll promote it time in and time out again. But again, Cider House.
The way I sleep when the Kirby on Sports podcast does a live show.
The Cider House, 30 East Piccadilly Street. Hopefully we will see you out there. We'll be right back with the Kirby on Sports PickEm.
The Cider House is now open on East Piccadilly Street in downtown Winchester. The Cider House is open starting at noon Wednesday to Sunday. Stop in for a wide variety of ciders on draft, as well as 4 Virginia beers, wine, and ready-to-drink canned cocktails. Don't miss our lunch specials featuring our house salad. We also have dinner specials too. Stop in today at the Cider House, located on Piccadilly Street in downtown Winchester.
It's time. It's time once again for the beloved, most coveted segment in all of Kirby on Sports history.
Coveted segment.
It is the one, the only Kirby on Sports PickEm. Carlos Martinez, take it away.
All right, here we go. Week 10, boys and girls. This is such a boring graphic to look at. I mean, there's literally only a couple differences. It's terrible. But the boys like to play it safe, so it's fine. Anywho,
gotta complain.
So a little history lesson here, as hopefully my internet doesn't break this time as I give this history lesson.
Knocking on my desk. Come on.
Oop, his internet broke.
that was uncalled for.
But last year at this point, going into week 10, Dan was 35-19. He is 37-17. He's still holding a 2-game plus advantage on this year compared to last year.
Yep.
I was at 32-22. I'm at 36-18. So I'm holding a 4-game difference. I'm doing 4 games better. And Kirby's the one who's doing, I think, the best this season. He was at 30-24.
I'm in last place. I'm a terrible picker. I'm sorry.
You're what?
I'm in last place.
I'm giving you a compliment.
Oh.
Yeah, I said you're doing I think out of the 3 of us this season, you have been picking a lot better than you were last year, because last year you were at 30-24, you're at 35-19. You've picked 5 games better at this point. And so the standings stay the same. Sorry. Dan is in first place at 37-17. He went 5-1 for the week. I am in second place at 36-18. I had a perfect week again, boys. That's 2. That's 2 in one season.
Wait a second. When we have perfect weeks, we don't. Never mind. I'm not going to do this.
Okay. 2 perfect weeks in one season.
Two's good.
That's pretty impressive. You can't lie to me. You can't lie, and that's why I'm the back-to-back champion, baby. Okay. Because I had the bravado. I had the confidence.
I was waiting for it. Always cutting a promo. Always cutting a promo.
I gotta cut a promo because I'm your champion. I'm Kirby's champion. I'm the people's champion. I'm my champion. I'm Chiefs champion. I'm the world's champion, baby. Woo!
That was good, Carlos.
Anyways, yeah, I'm in second place. I am at 36-18, perfect week, 6-0 for the week. And Kirby is at 35-19. He went 5-1 for the week as well. So with that being said, the games we'll be picking this week are, of course, Bengals, Ravens, because we will be going there. Steelers, Commanders, Lions, Texans. The safe game that these guys didn't want to take a risk on, Eagles, Cowboys, and went exactly how I predicted it was going to go. But, these guys are safe picks and don't want to take a risk at anything. It's fine. 49ers, Buccaneers, and Jets, Cardinals. I will go first, as always, because as your two-time Pick'em's champion, I will be taking the Ravens over the Bengals, home team. I'm just going to pick the Ravens. Why am I not going to pick the Ravens?
Right.
I'm going to take the Steelers over the Commanders. We talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the show. I think that Commanders defense is just terrible. And I think Russell Wilson's going to chew it apart. And then on top of that, I don't think the Commanders have faced a defense as good as Pittsburgh has. And yeah, so we'll see. But this is a chance for the Commanders to make a statement win, but I'm going to go with the Steelers over the Commies. I'm going to take the Lions over the Texans. I just think the Lions are playing outstanding football, and I just think the Texans they've suffered a few injuries, and I think they're still trying to figure it out. I will take the Eagles over the Cowboys. The Cowboys are just injury plagued right now, and the Eagles are playing at a Saquon Barkley's out of this world right now. But yeah, I will take the Eagles over the Cowboys. I will take the 49ers over the Buccaneers. I think the Bucs played very well against the Chiefs. And I think they're going to play very well here against the 49ers, but I just think the 49ers I think this is when they're going to start to make their little run to try to try to get at least a playoff spot. And then I'll take the Cardinals over the Jets. I think the Cardinals, again, have been playing sneaky good, have been winning a lot. They feel very under the radar, and I still don't think the Jets have figured anything out. I think that they figured something out a little bit against the Texans there in that second half, but I still think the problems are still there. But Aaron Rodgers likes to beat the Cardinals, so we could be wrong here. And with that, I'll send it to this podcast's favorite number 2, Dan Dembski.
Always appreciate that title because it's damn true. I will start by picking my Baltimore Ravens over the Cincinnati Bengals. This is an easy pick for me. Going to the game, going to be there, going to see 5 sacks of Joe Burrow. It's going to be great. I think this is an important game for the Ravens. I think they find a way to win. Big primetime matchup. At the bank, Ravens are going to win this one. I will take the Commanders over the Steelers. This game is kind of hard for me to pick. I kind of went back and forth. But I think this is a chance for Jaden Daniels to have a prove-it game against a very good Steelers defense. And for the Commanders to show that they are a legitimate team. I think they've proven that to this point anyway. But like Carlos said, even at 7-2, that who they've beaten are not the best teams. So this is a prove-it kind of game for them, and I think they will get the job done. Plus, I hate Pittsburgh, so that's another motivation as well for me to pick the Commanders. I will take the Lions over the Texans. Texans coming off a bad performance, and the Lions are just playing out of their minds right now. They're on fire, so I think that continues. And I think the Lions win this by multiple scores, so give me a Detroit. I will take the Eagles as well over the Cowboys. I do think this game's going to be close, divisional game, and we know these two teams have had some great battles over the years. So I will take the Eagles in a close win. I will take the 49ers over the Bucs. I think the Bucs are going to be worn out. They have a little bit of a shorter week. The Niners coming off a bye week. I think that gives them a little bit of advantage. They have a little bit of extra rest that the Bucs don't have. Plus, Tampa playing overtime. Obviously, not the offense, just the defense. But still, I think the Niners will get right and they will win this football game. And I agree with Carlos. I think they kind of start to make a little bit of a run here as we get into the back half of the season, and they'll find a way to make it work. And then lastly, I will take the Cardinals over the Jets. Cardinals have played really good football, and the Jets are a mess right now. So with that, I will send it over to the founder and CEO, and who's finished last place the last couple of years. Got to do better, but that's okay. Josh Kirby, over to you, sir.
Dan,
3
thank
years
you
running.
Thank you so much. So my picks...
3 years, that's right.
My picks follow as such. We will be in attendance at the bank, the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Ravens are going to continue what they did against the Broncos last week on Thursday night. Should be an electric atmosphere, and I'm predicting numerous first down for Derrick Henry.
Shut your mouth. Just shut your mouth right now. Just stop
Camera.
right
Where's
now.
the camera?
If you do that again,
he's going to do that again.
If you keep doing it,
Banish,
like I understand when we're at the game, go ahead. But if you keep going the way you were the last time we went, I swear to God, we're leaving you on the side of the road.
Yep. You will be left in Maryland.
Hey, it's a great public address announcer. I'm just giving props.
Okay, we get that, but man, dude, you go too far sometimes.
Hey, it was only once. I'm predicting some first down.
It wasn't just once every time.
Yeah, but
Anyways, whatever.
the Baltimore Ravens, I'm picking the Washington Commanders because I'm contractually obligated to, but this is going to be a very close game. And I think the Commanders show the world what they're made of in this game. I'm picking the Washington Commanders.
Show the world, yeah, sure.
Tigers over there. That's what they're made of.
I got the Lions over the Texans. Numerous scores for the Lions. They're red hot right now. I am picking the Philadelphia Eagles over the Dallas Cowboys. I honestly don't think this game will be close. But
which is why I don't understand why we have it on the pick'ems, but you guys didn't want to put my other game, so it's fine.
Well,
I'm picking the Eagles.
Yeah. No one wants to be subjected to the other game, I don't think either. So
Nobody said we had to watch it, but it was at least going to be a challenge to pick it.
Okay, no need to yell, Carlos. Why can't we all just get along?
Goodness
here?
gracious!
This is a democracy.
It's exactly how I predicted it.
It's like our great country.
It's exactly how I
democracy.
We
man.
were all going to just pick the Eagles because the Cowboys are an absolute trash team this year. So it's like it wasn't a challenge.
So
at least the Panthers and Giants, we could have had some fun with that one. It's too late now, but I'm just saying.
I have a feeling after saying all this, Dallas is going to win now. I really do.
You know what? I hope they do.
I
hope we all get
you
this
for
wrong
picking
now.
the safe
Me
game.
too.
Man.
Me too. What'd you say, Kirby?
And then I'll blame you for picking the safe game here.
You could have picked the other way, Kirby. You could have been on my side. You decided to do this too. You're not innocent in this.
Well, I just thought it was a division game, and I don't know.
That's what I said. All right, let's just keep rolling.
It's a division game, but the Cowboys are completely decimated. They don't have Dak Prescott. CeeDee Lamb may or may not play. We don't know yet. Either way, he's hurt.
Which is why they'll pull the upset.
This is terrible.
They have a star-studded receiver they just picked up today.
All right,
who cares?
Okay,
Kirby.
so I'm picking the Philadelphia Eagles, and for what it's worth, I would probably pick the Carolina Panthers to beat the Giants, but we don't have that game. I'm picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they're really angry after what the Chiefs did to them last week. I think they come out and they defeat the 49ers, but again,
why would they be angry? They lost in OT.
They should be angry.
What did the Chiefs do to them? We didn't steal a game.
No, they just beat them. They're hungry for more.
Are they mad about the false start that wasn't called? Kirby, is that what you're saying?
Maybe. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just shared that. Take it as you will. But
yeah, you shared that when we already told you to go to bed. It was past freaking midnight, bro.
Oh. In the group chat, this guy. He's like the Energizer Bunny.
It's a freaking menace, bro.
And last but not least, I'm picking the Arizona Cardinals because I'm not sure what to say about the Jets, to be honest. They're really done.
They're a mess. They're a total mess.
I will say I was watching Pat McAfee and Rodgers was on the show where Mike Williams.
No one wants.
Don't care,
I don't
bro.
watch that garbage. Forget that.
I love McAfee, but I could care less about what Aaron Rodgers has to say.
I don't care what Karen Rodgers thinks. At this point. I've seen enough.
We should get Dan Dembski on that show once a week. It'd be a lot better.
Replace me with Rodgers. I'll be better.
Yeah,
do it for the fraction of the price.
So I'm picking the Arizona Cardinals there.
Appearance.
I'm picking the Arizona Cardinals there. With that, that concludes the Kirby on Sports Week 10 Pick'em. Again, you pick with us Anthony's Pizza in Steven City. If you get the most amount correct, you win a free large cheese pizza from Anthony's Pizza in Steven City. I will remind you, Carlos, on air, please send this to me since this is a Thursday night game so I can post this on Facebook immediately after the recording of this podcast. But until then, that about wraps up another episode of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure making things great here on the Kirby on Sports podcast with you.
Are we creating greatness is the question.
Yeah, we're creating greatness.
It's the ultimate question. It's always fun. Always fun.
Carlos, it's always a pleasure, buddy.
Indubitably.
It's a big word for me.
With that, you can find the Kirby on Sports podcast at www.kirbyonsports.com. All streaming platforms, in all social media platforms. And also...
Plateau.
The plateau is a big word for him, for sure.
No. And also, you can find the Kirby on Sports podcast.
Today's show
on
was brought to you by the word plateau, and the letter P with the number 7.
Find us on YouTube as well, ladies and gentlemen. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We might do a competition here soon. The 200th subscriber of the Kirby on Sports podcast YouTube channel gets a signed Dan Dembski headshot.
Great. Lovely. I'm glad to know my likeness will be, that my name, image, and likeness will be used, hopefully with compensation. We'll see.
Yeah,
you get paid for this, Dan?
No, not yet. I'm about to. I'm gonna lawyer up.
Oh, goodness. Well, with that, thank you so much for tuning into the Kirby on Sports podcast. For our sponsors, PM Plus Reserves, Shenandoah Primitives, Transformative Alignment Group, Barrett, Pest, and Termite Services, Mark Lynch with Guild Mortgage, Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate, Shenandoah Music, and the brand new sponsor of the Kirby on Sports podcast, the Cider House, located on 30 East Piccadilly Street in Winchester, Virginia. Great cider and great food. Ladies and gentlemen, always remember to create greatness. And remember, whatever direction this country goes the next day, you always have the Kirby on Sports podcast. I'm Josh Kirby, and I approve this episode of the Kirby on Sports podcast.